go to the phone call. All right. You're some friend, man. All right. Anyway, let's go to this line right here. Once again, the number here in studios happens to be 888-31-radio. That's 888-317-2346. It is the new number for you getting your questions answered right here on Link Up Radio, 888-317-2346. And yes, all the old numbers work. Let's go to the first call for the attorney, Brad Bernstein, from the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, answering immigration questions. Let's go to this call. Hello, caller. How are you?
I am good.
Okay. We like to have the phones ring in the background so people don't worry about it. And it sounds like we're in a real studio. This is a real studio, right?
This is a real studio.
Yeah. What's your question for Brad, ma'am?
Yes, I have a question. My son applied to the immigration in Jamaica. It was about 20 years ago. He had an offense, and they turned him down. How long does they keep those records?
They don't keep him for 20 years, that's for sure. Just to being turned down for a visitor's visa or turned down for a green card?
He turned down for a green card.
Oh, for a green card, they keep it for life.
For life.
Yes, okay. For a visitor's visa, they're not going to have an application from 20 years ago.
Okay, so what's the procedure? How can we have
Why was he turned down?
Pardon me?
Why was he turned down?
He turned down because he had a criminal record.
What was his criminal record?
Got it? Give it up.
I think it was breaking and entering, something like that.
Breaking and entering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that was more than 15 years ago.
Yes.
And he's had a clean record since.
Yes.
Well, he can file a 212H waiver at the embassy,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And if it's been more than 15 years, generally those waivers are approved. When you do a 212H waiver, everybody always thinks you got to do the waiver based on extreme and unusual hardship. I mean, you know how I always go through, it's not the usual hardship, it's the unusual hardship. However, if the criminal offense happened more than 15 years ago, you have another way to do it. All you have to weigh is the reasons on one hand to allow him to come into the country versus the reasons not to allow him. The reasons not to allow him are a conviction from 20 years ago, and the reasons to allow him are whatever multitude of reasons you have. You want family unity. He's had a clean record for 20 years. Economic reasons. There could be all sorts of reasons. And in just about most circumstances, you're going to find that the reasons that he can get a green card outweigh the reasons not to. So when you're dealing with a criminal conviction that happened more than 15 years ago, you have a different type of waiver where they weigh the pros and the cons. The only time when you don't have that waiver to get your green card is when it's drugs. So whenever you get deported or you get turned down for drugs, that's something that you're never going to be able to come back on. But if it's a situation where he had a criminal conviction, it happened more than 15 years ago, somebody can apply for him, whether it's a wife, whether it's a mother. He just has to go through the process of applying for his green card, being on a waiting list if there is a waiting list, and subsequently, when he goes to the embassy for an interview, filing that 212H waiver, which is the easier waiver to get because it's been more than 15 years.
Okay, I filed for him in 2006. I'm a citizen of this country.
Okay, so he's about 2 years away, but what I think you should do is sometime next year. You don't have to come run in tomorrow, but sometime next year, come in to see me so we can start talking about doing the 212H waiver for him.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for choosing us. Remember, the number for Spar and Bernstein is 1-800-LAWLINK. That is 1-800-529-5465. Remember the number here to get on the airwaves. It's a brand spanking new day where Immigration Link is concerned. The number is 888-31-RADIO. It is the full-service law firm Spar and Bernstein. Been around since 1958, and we're taking tons of immigration questions right now. Just call us at 888-31-RADIO. 888-317-2346. And the phone lines are wide open. If you call now, you'll get through. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you, man?
Plush, man. Peace, love, unity, strength, and harmony. Go ahead. What's your question for Brad?
One love. I'm the morning lawyer. How are you doing today?
Hey, how you doing?
Lawyer?
I'm not doing so good right now.
That was a
I
trick.
came to this country in 1995.
Right.
I was married. Lady, she started my filing papers and stuff. When I got to go to the U.S. Embassy, we were not on good terms.
Who was not on good terms? You and your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I told them that, she's not working, so she could not supply a bank statement and job letter. But they said if I have, any form of relative in the state, they can help me. I got everything from my aunt. I came here. Now I'm trying to get citizenship. They're saying, but I went to a lawyer a couple weeks ago, and he's saying that if my divorce came before I came here, there's no way I can have a citizenship. Is that true?
Well, let me tell you a few things. All right, and by the way, let me tell you, you're not the first person to come to me with this issue. Okay, Squeeze and I always said, there's probably no issue that I've never dealt with before, including this. It seems like your wife divorced you behind your back before you came up to the United States. So if you were to file for your green card right now, your green card, excuse me, if you were to file for your citizenship right now, and you go apply and you bring in the divorce decree from your wife that shows that you were divorced before you got your green card, immigration may say to you, you were never entitled to the green card in the first place because you were divorced before you even came up here.
Yes, sir.
And so not only do you not become a citizen, but you're now running the risk of having your green card taken away or getting deported. Now, where were you? Now, I assume the divorce happened in the New York area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in New York, like just about all 50 states, okay, there is something called that you have to serve your defendant, meaning that a divorce is not legal if all the parties don't know a divorce is going on. So in New York State, they require personal service, meaning that if I'm married to Squeeze, which thank God I'm not, okay, I'm just giving as an example because I don't have any women here in the studio, okay? I would have to serve, Squeeze, relax yourself. I would have to have somebody over the age of 18 serve Squeeze with divorce papers. Now, I assume nobody over the age of 18 ever served you with divorce papers. You found out about this divorce years later. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, the divorce that she did against you was an illegal divorce because you were never properly served, never given notice of a divorce, and never given an opportunity to defend yourself in a divorce proceeding in New York State, which is what the law requires. So what you have to do now, in order not only, more importantly, not so much for your marriage, because the marriage is dead anyway, but what you got to do it for your immigration, okay? Because what you have to do is you have to make a motion back to the court to vacate that divorce conviction and argue to the court I was never properly served. And if you can prove you were never properly served, because what will happen is when you got divorced, there is somebody who signed an affidavit of service saying that they served you. Okay? So she's going to have to bring that person into court, and they're going to have to come and say they served you when the fact is they didn't, so they would be caught in a lie anyway. What you have to do is you got to vacate that divorce. You were never properly served. Your rights were violated in this divorce proceeding. That would make you and your wife, once the divorce is vacated, that would make you and your wife married again. And then you ask the judge to re-divorce you on this date in 2009. So then when you go and file for your citizenship, you were not divorced in XYZ year before you got your green card. You were divorced this year. That's what you need to do.
All right.
And believe it or not, he's not the first person to come to me with that issue.
I know.
All right. So we've dealt with the divorce. We've dealt with. I'm sorry?
The lawyer who I spoke to, he said nothing can be done about it.
I just told you something that can be done.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
I made an appointment to come to on Wednesday, but I'm not sure if I can make it on Wednesday. I'll try and come tomorrow morning.
Okay, if not, you'll come next week.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right. And just remember this, brother. This is a message from Squeeze. All lawyers are not created equal.
I know that. I know that now, Squeeze.
All right. And by the way,
and happy holiday.
And by the way,
Thank you.
just to disclaim something, Brad and I are not married. Okay.
I hope not.
Yeah, because if we are, everyone's going to stop listening right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Me too. Thanks, man.
All right, no problem.